Hello, hello. Can you hear me? I bet you can't. Can you hear me? Let's see where I need to make sure that you can hear me. Oh, yeah. If you're just coming in, I'm trying to make the sound work. Hello, if you're just coming in, I'm just making the sound work and we'll get right into it. But if you can't hear me, you can't hear me. That's true. Hey, can you hear me? Let me know, Rain. Can you hear me? If not, we'll make that work. Yes, awesome. Okay, great. Thank you. Let me see if I can get this to work better. All right. So just letting some people come in because I just sent out a message to a few people to join. I think you're going to like this. It's going to be cool. And if you have to watch the replay, like Meg does, all good. This is going to be very helpful, I think, to you. And just waiting just a moment for everybody to get to see that message I just sent out. Okay, and I've pinned my message. All right, so let me tell you what's going on. Let me tell you what's happening. I'm doing something a little different, you can probably tell, than I normally do. Yesterday, I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell anybody in my memberships or anything, but I flew to Las Vegas. I live in Los Angeles. I flew to Las Vegas, and the reason I flew to Las Vegas was because you might know if you see these words. Anybody have a guess as to what I was doing? Well, actually, I just told you in the title, didn't I? My bad. Okay, so Hormozi, Alex Hormozi, let me know in the chat if you know who that is. A few weeks ago, you may have been part of this, where I brought in a lot of affiliates, more than 2,000 affiliate signups to join his free book launch. And his book launch went on to make more than $100 million in 1 week. And that was incredible. If anybody was here, let me see if I can see if I have it. 1 sec. Let me see if I have the book. Yeah, I have the book. 1 sec, y'all. I'll grab the book, show you what it is. Who has the book? Who was one of the people who signed up through my link and got the book? Let me know. And if you're watching this on replay, just let me know in the comments. So that's the book. It's called $100 Million Money Models. He has 3 of those types of books. And when you were in the top 50 affiliates, you won a day with him. I was number 15 out of 22,000 affiliates, right? Out of 22,000. So I have made a few videos about Hormozi in the past few weeks, especially when I was doing the affiliate stuff, and I've learned quite a bit from him. There's things that I think, some ways he says certain things that I don't agree with, and I'll be very frank about that. But I have met him twice now. Last October, just about a year to the day, at the same place at his headquarters, and then yesterday, Hormozi, I met him, and I got to see in both cases. It was a smaller group, 50, 70 people this time. It was about 20 last time. So in a small group, in person, he has to think on his feet. He has to answer questions in person. And I thought then what I thought yesterday, which is he's incredibly intelligent, and he knows what he's talking about. So what I thought I would do is, I know I have had a lot of success. I've done a lot of things. I teach thousands of students every single day like you, and I'm so grateful for you. But I hope you know that every day I'm learning too. And I took at least 20 pages of handwritten notes yesterday. Okay, at least 20 pages of handwritten notes. Amber was in Arlan's All Access watching orientation. Amazing. Take a little pause, watch this, and come back. It'd be amazing. Okay, so a few people got the book because they were part of that. That's great. Look at that. Okay, so I took these handwritten notes in a room full of people who all won Hormozi's affiliate contest, meaning they were able to get thousands of people to sign up in different methods. And then he taught us, and then he was interviewed by several of those winners, and he answered their questions in real time. Who here wants me to go over some of these notes and share what only 50 people in a room got to hear yesterday? Because, yes, of course, they filmed it, but who knows when he's going to release it and what he's going to release? It was hours and hours and hours. I'm seeing a lot of yeses. So if you are someone who is serious about your business, if you're someone who is potentially stuck and you're thinking, I've been stuck for too long now, I want to figure this out, I think today is going to be helpful to you. I think today is going to be helpful. So do what I did, which is yesterday, no matter how much success I had, I sat there and I hand wrote these notes. Okay. I was sitting with my friend who has done about $25 million in sales. She was taking handwritten notes. Take notes. You can never get past the point of taking notes, because if you take notes, you take note. Okay? And if you have read his books, you know some of this. You know that he is really good at this stuff. But what he does is he has these $5,000 a day or a 2-day workshop, right? And he teaches all his real good stuff in those workshops. And so he taught some of that to us yesterday in Vegas, where I just spent the day with him, if anybody's just joining. And you want to hear the points I don't agree with. I'll walk you through what he said. When it comes to what I don't agree with Hormozi, and I've said this to, I'll say this to his face, I've said it to his team, it usually is not about business. It's about how he made, like he has an old school way of thinking that his audience is mainly men, right? It really is. It's mainly men, and so he talks to men, and I think he's leaving a lot on the table. So that's part of it. But let me get into this. We'll talk about where it's necessary. He also is a big Elon Musk fan, and I'm not. And I'm not at all. But here are the notes. Okay, y'all ready? Okay, so I did this, y'all. I got the whiteboard out. Very excited about that. The eraser doesn't work very well, so it's going to be a little interesting to see how this goes. And this is not mounted by nails. This is mounted by tape. So if this falls, it's going to be on video. It's going to be live. All right. You all have to make a promise to me that you will not laugh until you see I'm okay. Okay. If this falls, that's my only rule is don't laugh until you know that I'm okay. All right. And we have earthquakes in LA, so anything can happen. Stay tuned. Anything can happen. So I'm going to try to keep up with your chat here, but I'm going to just start to take the notes, and I'm going to pinpoint some things that I found that I feel like are going to be the most useful to everyone here. In the chat, let me know where your business is. What type of business it is. Is it coaching? Is it digital products? What is it? And where you are. Are you pre-revenue, meaning you haven't made money yet? Have you made $10,000 in the past 12 months? Give me a little bit of context as we go. So I want you to understand the biggest takeaway that I had after hours and hours and hours and incredible amount of information. The biggest takeaway that I had is that Hormozi's biggest takeaway is that we all, including me, including you, the answer to most of our questions is a 4-letter word. And don't try to guess the 4-letter word because you might get kicked out the chat. But I'm going to tell you what it is. Okay? When you see it, type it in the chat. Let me know if you can hear me when my back's turned to you. Great. Keep letting me know in the chat where you are in your business and what type of business you have. More of things. Do more of what works. This is the first thing he said. And believe me and understand that I'm summarizing. Okay, I'm synthesizing it for this audience. So he didn't, there's some things that are quotes and some things that are just my understanding of it. But basically he's saying, do more of what works. And he had a really great quote that I thought was super, super clear, even though it may not sound clear. So I'm going to write it out just because it's only 5 words, but it's kind of weird, right? Okay. New is almost never better. Somebody tell me in the chat what that means. Tell me what you think how you interpret that. And I'm going to read a little bit about what you all do. When it comes to doing more of what works, what do you think that? Yeah, we can't be just doing brandy quotes here. This is what Hormozi said. Okay. Don't reinvent the wheel. C-show. Yes. Anybody else want to say what it means to them? Chantel says, connect with what has worked for you in the past. Yes. There is no need to reinvent the wheel. If it isn't broken, don't fix it. Exactly, Shelley. Luxstyle says, starting from scratch, no bad habits. Oh, whatever is working, do that more, says Ryan. Perfect. You all are getting this. Another way of thinking about this is do what has worked, do more of what has worked for you, and also more of what has worked for other people. Because you may not have had all the experience in the world, but success leaves clues. Type that out if you understand. Success leaves clues. I'll say it another way. If I'm doing something that works, and I started from zero, from scratch, and I try different things all the time from zero, and if other people have done things that worked and it's working for not only them but for other people, and if you have done something that worked, why would we try to do a million other things? And that's what most people are doing. Most people they get something to work, they test it out, it works, so they go to something else and say, good, I did well on that thing, let me go to this other thing and I'll do well on that. Anybody relate to that? Anybody relate? So I'm not saying to you that I have to be your guide, but I do believe that you need one, because everybody does. Serena Williams has a coach. If Serena Williams can have a coach, then we can all stand to have a coach. Okay, so look at the clues that people are leaving you. That might mean looking at YouTube videos more. And remember, the code word and the keyword is more. It may mean looking at YouTube videos. It may mean looking at going into my memberships. If you're already in it, do more in there. Let me know in the chat which membership you're in already. And anybody who has a affiliate link can feel free to post it in here so people can join if they want. Just one time though, each. Don't spam it up. But if you're in Arlan's All Access, which I see people are, if you're in your first 5K, which I see people are, did you go into the classroom once, take a look around and say, oh, okay, there's a lot of stuff, I'm going to go? Or did you say, look, on Wednesdays and Sundays, from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., I'm in class. I'm studying and I'm implementing. I'm studying and I'm implementing. That's what you need to do. You need to do more of it. So in Alex's case, and also at the top here, the pinned comment that I've made, you want to check out this 100 prompt pack that I have, because I'm teaching you and I'm giving you everything you need to start your own prompt store. So you just open that up, have it on the side. If you don't know what to offer, you don't know what to do next, this is for you, okay? Now, when it came to what we were talking about yesterday, Hormozi gave us the sauce, okay? So his mental framework is very basic, but it's what he does every time, no matter if he's thinking about something that costs $1,000 or something that costs $1 million, or a business that's doing no revenue or a business that's doing hundreds of millions of dollars. He always comes back to his 5 M's that he says you need to do more of one or more of these things when you have a problem. So this is going to be fun. We're going to look at we're going to look at a case study from yesterday with my handwritten notes. And then we're going to look at somebody who's in the chat and look at their business and see how we can use this, okay? So the 5 M's: market, metrics, model, money, and what's the 5th? Manpower, manly manpower. So what Alex is saying is, if you have an issue with your business, it's usually one or more of these. Are you in the right market? And if so, do you need to do more? Expand if you don't have enough. So let's see if anybody wants to volunteer. Tell me where you are. Like, what feels like the biggest blocker for you? It can be simple, and please make it simple, because I'm not going to read a book here. But what is it? I don't have enough what? I can't do what? So consistency is a really interesting one. It's probably the more complex one, but you can find that with a couple of things. One, overall, consistency comes from, it's interesting because when you get positive reinforcement, like things are working, you tend to be more consistent because you want it to work more, right? So you're probably seeing some negative feedback, as in, I'm not making enough money. It's not giving me the results I want. Therefore, I'm not being consistent. But another thing could be manpower. I had to do it. I'm woke, y'all. I'm woke. Some of it could be manpower. It could be an issue of, can I plug someone in here who likes to do and is good at doing the things that I do not like or am not good at? And they, instead of me having to force myself to be consistent, can they take ownership of the tasks, the big picture and the task? Can they take ownership of it and tell me where I need to do what I need to do? And they're consistent. Does that make sense? So like any of your issues, you can, even if you don't get, even if I don't call on you or you don't say what your issue is, think about, is it one of these 5? So let me read another one. I don't have enough signups to seed the marketplace. So when you say marketplace, I'm just going to go ahead and assume you have a website that is literally a marketplace, that's a buy, sell sort of thing, and you don't have enough people, leads, traffic coming in. And I'm going to also assume that because you said that was your bottleneck, that everything else is working well. The product itself is really good, and the system itself is really good, and you can stand to get more. Like if tomorrow you had 1 million people look at the website and some of them signed up, you could stand that. Because I'm making that assumption because it's shorthand, but make sure that is true. Make sure your offer is great, because people have told you it's great, not just you think it's great. Make sure your systems are in order. But if you don't have enough leads, can you do more? Alex kept asking everybody, anybody who went up and did a question, he said, what is stopping you from doing more of ... So what is stopping you of expanding who you sell to? This could mean brick and mortar, local, I'm in a certain city, but it mostly means for us, usually, that I'm online and I have a certain demographic. And yes, I need to be precise in who I'm talking to because I need to be able to sell to them and market to them. But could it be expanded to more people if enough people are not coming to? Or am I not reaching them? Could I do more to reach them? That's usually where it happens, is I'm not posting enough, I'm not making enough content, I'm not doing the 4 core traffic that we'll talk about. I'll put a little note. We'll talk about that in just a second. Is this helping anybody? Is this working? Y'all like this style? Okay. So the metrics was interesting because of all of the ones that I wrote down, it's the one I didn't put notes next to. Because as I understood it, and he could correct me if I'm wrong, but as I understood it, this was basically, do you have enough data about what happens? Like, do you know if I get on a call with 10 people, how many people convert? If you don't know that answer, why? Is it because you've never gotten on a call with someone? That's a problem. Is it because you're not taking notes and taking stock? That's another problem. Is it because you don't think that kind of information is important? That's a problem, right? So knowing your metrics, can you know more about the inputs? Can you know more about what you're doing? Can you document more? Can you take note of more? You can start doing any of this today, by the way. There's no excuse. We're not doing excuses in this room. Your model. Are you selling the right thing? The example that Hormozi used yesterday was that the building he lives in with his wife, Layla, so obviously a great, big building that probably costs a lot to live in, is owned by the owner of PF Chang's. And he said that years and years and years and years ago, decades ago, PF Chang's, the person who started PF Chang's said, hey, I want to have this brick and mortar store that sells orange chicken, etc., right? And a lot of people didn't understand it. And he kind of made a joke that in today's world, most of the people, if he had stood in front of any of the gurus out there, we would have said, okay, turn that into an education business, sell a course about it, and that would have stifled his growth because you can only sell a course to so many people who want to start that kind of company. Instead, what he did was he expanded. He tried it, people loved it, and he expanded into so many locations that the company makes $1 billion cash every year. Right? So what this means is if you are stuck and you have not been able to sell, you just have not been able to sell, it could be that the model you're doing is wrong. It could be that you're setting it up as some type of digital product and it really should be taught live. Or it could be that you're doing a lot of one-on-ones when you could be going to group. Or it could be that it's supposed to be a software or this or that. Now, of course, it doesn't have to be one thing. And we talk about that in our premium sprint that we're doing. We're talking about the different tiers. And especially when you're just starting, all that matters when you're just starting is in an ethical and legal and moral way, making as much money as possible so that you can get the points on board and get the investment capital so that you can make other types of moves and decisions. Okay? And then money. You need more money. And that's what I was just talking about. So when it comes to being able to make moves, we all can understand needing more money. How do you get more money? So maybe that is raising your prices. Maybe it means lowering your expenses. Is there something that you're paying for that you don't use? That you have it because you think you're supposed to because you're an entrepreneur? Do you have a location? Do you travel a lot? Do you do a lot of things that maybe if you took, $2,000 and put it into ads after training on how to use ads, it would work? And then manpower. You may just need more people. Whoa, manpower. You may just need more people to help you. Doesn't mean you have to hire like a salaried $200,000 a year employee. It could be fractional. That's why I started my company, Runner. It could be a fractional person who comes in for 5-10 hours a week, takes off 30% of your workload, makes your life easier, gives you space to be more creative, to make more leveraged moves. And I'm going to add mine. See if I can spell it. More leverage. That's what I'm saying. So we need more. I think the biggest thing we need is more leverage. Now, according to Hormozi, and I agree with him, almost any business can scale to success. Well, I, of course, agree with this. With work, skill, and time. If you're just joining, I'm taking my handwritten notes from my time with Hormozi yesterday, and I'm going over, and this is just page 1. So there's a lot, right? Almost any business can scale to success with more work, more skill, more time. Go ahead and write this down because I'm going to erase this, okay? And the replay will be available later unless there's a technical glitch. More work, more skill, more time. Almost any. So instead of thinking about, he said this. He said, instead of thinking about how much I can make in 36 months, 3 years, think 36 years. And I made a note to myself. I said, most people that I know won't even think 3 years when they think about their time horizon for making something work. And I don't mean like doing the same thing over and over again. It's not working, and you don't ever change and adapt. I mean, just giving your business, giving this entrepreneurial journey a chance. Thank you, Christine. Christine says, you are so cool. Who else but Arlan can have an audience with Alex Hormozi? Well, me and 49 of my best friends. Wow, it's funny. So this is important. I want to stay here for a second. And remember, I'm going to erase this. So when you see something that you like, write it down. This is important. Actually, I should have it somewhere. You know what? I'll keep it up for a little bit because when we go to other people, I want you to be able to see it. So I'll come back to this. Let's say you're struggling right now. Anybody struggling with money? Anybody struggling with their sales? Their business is not doing what they want it to do? First thing I would say is join one of my memberships, wherever it makes sense to you to join. Your first 5K is a great place to start. You can find me on school. You can find me in the links in my YouTube videos, because that's going to help you. But if you're struggling, how long have you tried one thing? Have you tried to sell one product or offer to one type of person with one traffic source? Have you done it for 36 months? I don't think most people have. Now, somebody's going to say, yes, I have. Somebody is going to probably be able to poke a hole in that. But most people don't think that long or have that stamina to stay in it. When I tell somebody to do something for a week or two, they flinch. One audience, one thing with stamina, absolutely. So that I just think about that for a second. I worked on my venture fund, Backstage Capital, for 12 years. We're going into the 13th year now of me working on it, and probably even started earlier than that. And for 10 of those years, I just worked on it. That's all I did. Yeah. Put the link again if you can, Sabrina. I don't think I saw it. YouTube may be blocking it. 10 years I worked on Backstage. And what did that yield? 200 companies invested in. 200 companies invested in. $30 million raised. 3 books or 2 books. I'll put those first 2 books with Backstage. Cover a Fast Company. $6 million joint venture with Mark Cuban. And I was sleeping on the floor of an airport a few years ago. But I was so hyper-focused, nothing else mattered except my health, my family. So what can you do more of? Can you do more? Are you doing enough? Now, going back to money, it could be that your leads are costing too much, you're selling to too few people, or your lifetime value is too low. So if your leads cost too much, try to get better conversion. If you're selling to too few people, get more leads, and we'll talk about the details of that. And if your lifetime value is too low, make more offers to your current customers. Right? So where do I want to put this? Don't let me forget the 4 core traffic. So you want more leverage, okay? This is all about more leverage. Being able to do something, and it actually, if you think about leverage, think about a seesaw. So when you push down here, actually you're moving the little thing. I can't do too much of a visual, but I could, I guess, do something. Let's see, where is this? Yeah, I could do like, so this is you. You notice how I made the seesaw to talk about what is the phrase? Somebody knows it. Somebody went to college. I did. Somebody knows about if you give me a fulcrum, I can carry the world. Meaning, let's say you had a seesaw, but the middle of it was closer to you. When you put your weight down, this is going to go up higher. And the closer this comes to you, the higher this side will go up. So the idea is to find leverage in these places and more that give you more leverage as you push down. So you have to push down less and less. The weight of it is lower and lower, but you get higher and higher result. Yeah, more conversions, more leads, more offers. Great. You also want to increase the quality of your traffic sources. So I'll use this time to talk about traffic sources. The 4 core traffic, meaning where you're going to find people to buy your stuff. Here they are. I'm going to write them out. The first one is warm outreach. The second is cold outreach. The third, paid ads. And the fourth, these are the core ones. They're subheadings too. But the fourth is content. And I'm going to put in parentheses meta newsletters because people will sleep on this one, etc. Warm outreach. Who do you already know? Who's in your phone right now, your contact list? Who have you ever worked with? Who have you ever helped? Who has ever asked you a question? Who have you met somewhere where they've talked about what you do, like the topic? There are people who are people have email lists. Not everybody has 0 email lists. I know that for a fact. You have great email lists, but you just don't use it, or you think it's too small, so you don't think it's valuable. We had somebody in All Access last year who did one of our 30 members in 30-day challenges. She had 30 people on her email list, and she converted 5 of those, like 20 something, into members, free members. And then something like 5 bought a high ticket travel offer from her with 30 people on a list. That's wild to me. But it's because the easiest and the lowest hanging fruit of leads is somebody who's already benefited from you. They've already paid you something. When is the last time you went back to the group that you have sold to in the last 2 years and said, hey, actually, I have something else for you. I'm doing more. Now, cold is what it sounds like. You don't know these people. These are strangers. This is you posting maybe on a board, or going into the comments on Instagram and leaving comments for other people. You want to be really careful about this. You don't want to spam. You don't want to annoy the hosts of these groups. They're very valuable. There's even automated cold outreach where you can actually pay to have emails sent out to people who might pick those up. Now, those are best for B2B, business to business, higher ticket things. Okay, that's something else that Alex talked about. He's really good at this stuff. But it is something to think about. It's my least favorite. Cold is my least favorite on the list. Doesn't mean it's bad, just means that it's my least used and least favorite. I like to go, I'll jump to content because I love content. What is this right now? What are we doing right now? This is content. Not only am I live right now, and you're getting to know me and you're learning something, and maybe you're gaining trust in what I have to say, and maybe you'll join one of my memberships, or you'll get my new prompt pack that's at the top of the chat. But you believe, hey, I know what I'm talking about because I'm teaching you, right? But this is also going to be a replay. And hey, I might even take the replay, put it into Opus clips, and make 30 clips from it, and use 3 of them as an ad, and 2 of them as content, social. Content is my favorite because it is highly leveraged. I'm recording this. I don't know how long I'll be on here. I love doing this. So I don't know how long I'll be on it. But I'll record, let's say I record for an hour or even more. But that's just 60 minutes or 90 minutes. I can then use this content for the rest of my life if I want to, or at least for years, depending on what platforms there are. So if I can use it for years, I can definitely use it for the next 30 days. You might be on Instagram in a week and see an ad that is just me saying this. Hey, hi Instagram, hi Facebook. I might have an ad that is just me saying this and proving the point that content is king and queen. Making sense? So going back to the more, what is stopping you from doing more of any of these? Now, paid ads is pretty self-explanatory, but I think a lot of people like me, I didn't used to like paid ads. I really didn't. So I stayed away from paid ads. But honestly, I've been using it more. I think with the right setup and doing organic first. Like when you have organic, you can actually retarget people with pixels and all kinds of cool stuff. And actually, the reason you're seeing my ads, let me know in the chat if you've seen my ads on Facebook or Instagram in the past month. If you've seen any ad of mine, either for school or for myself. The reason that happens is because you've already watched something on YouTube of mine or on Instagram, or you've bought something from me, and Meta is able to retarget. Like I don't even need to know who you are, and Meta can retarget using a pixel. Yeah, people are saying that they've seen my ads because they're everywhere. So I say that if you don't, I mean, paid ads, you can actually start like $10 a day, and you can test them and you can see how they work. And depending on what you're selling, you can start to see some results. And there's some great training about that. And I'll do some more training about paid ads. Let me know in the chat if you want me to do that on YouTube, some more training about paid ads now that I'm doing it. But first, just do more content, do more organic. You're not doing enough. I can just tell you, I don't even know every single person who's here, and I can tell you that you're not doing enough content. I wrote my notes, because again, these are handwritten notes from my day with Hormozi yesterday. I wrote a page that just says stuff that I want to do based on that conversation. And it just, the first thing it said was do 10 times as much content and then do 100 times as much. I didn't go straight to 100 because I wanted to be reasonable, but I said do 10 times. Can you imagine me doing 10 times my content? I already put a long form YouTube video up a day. You're not doing enough content. And if it feels overwhelming, you're like, oh, I don't want to do like a million things. Don't do a million things. Do the leveraged thing. Make a long form YouTube video. Post it. Go to Opus Clips. Put the URL of the video into Opus Clips. Make several shorts. Put the shorts up as reels on Instagram. Put the video itself or the shorts up on LinkedIn. If you have a 15-minute or shorter video, you can put it natively on LinkedIn. Put it on Substack. Link to it. Send people to it. It doesn't mean you have to do like thousands of hours a year of stuff. It just means to leverage it so that it's more places. Is this making sense? And I will do some training on ads. I'm seeing everybody's response. So do more warm outreach. Reach out to people who have already helped. Now, if any of this is interesting to you, I teach this in depth, and I'm doing daily accountability inside of my sprint. I know there are a couple people from the sprint in here if you want to put your affiliate link in the chat, although I haven't seen any links, so I think maybe YouTube blocks them. But let me know in the chat if you want information about that, and I will send you the link. I'll paste it in here. Actually, I'll just do that. Let me just paste it here. Simple, simple, simple. Okay, I'm going to put it in the chat. The sprint is here. You can go check out more information about it there. Just open it up on your page, have it for later, and there's a video on there that teaches you about it. While I'm doing that, I think many of you are going to be interested in my prompt shop. Anybody here in the prompt shop in a box? Anybody in here in that? Let people know in the chat how you've enjoyed that one. Here's that link to the prompt shop box. Your first 5K in the building. Yes. Tell them how you like in the prompt shop in the box. It's probably one of my most favorite launches that I've ever done because everybody is just loving it. But these are your 4 core traffic sources. Now, I did say here with paid ads, not only can you do Facebook and Instagram Meta, you can actually do newsletters. Is there a newsletter that you read? And I'm not just talking about somebody's email nurture sequence. I'm talking about somebody has like an actual newsletter on a Substack or on a Kit or something like that, on a whatever that Beehive one. And they come out with it like once a week. I guarantee you 99% of those people are either currently selling ads or would put your ad, put your blurb, put your review in their newsletter. They may charge you $300, $500, $1,000. But if it's a newsletter that you read and that your target audience reads, and you can find out about their open rate and their click-through rate, and start doing some math based on the metrics that you know about how many people it takes to get you a sale, then this may make sense. Yeah? Thanks for all the prompt shop love. Y'all go, jump on that if you haven't joined, y'all. It is really, really cool. Okay. How are we liking this? Is this working? Now, does anybody want me to go over? I have a page that talked about how to work with your employees or people that you work with. I don't know if, do we have people here that have employees? Let me know if you want me to do that page or skip to the next. Take a picture of this real quick because I'm outie. I'm erasing this. Yeah, love the chat here. So let me know. Do you want me to skip it? I don't have a problem skipping it. Just let me know though. And I think the cool thing about it though, the reason I wrote it down is because I don't like to have a lot of employees these days. But the reason I wrote it down is because you can also apply it to yourself. Skip it. Okay. I'll just tell you what it said. When you're thinking about why someone didn't do something that they were supposed to do, and if you don't have employees, if you have employees, think about why an employee wouldn't have done something that you asked them to do. And then if you don't have employees, think about why you didn't do something. And usually the reason is they didn't know that they were supposed to do it. They had no idea they were supposed to do it because you didn't make it clear to them, or they didn't catch it. Again, for yourself, I didn't know I was supposed to do that. Another reason is they don't know how to do it, or you don't know how to do it. So it's that they were supposed to, or how to do it. Another thing that comes up is they don't know when it's supposed to be done. They didn't know it was due already, or you didn't know it was due. And then another one is I didn't know which one thing to prioritize because you told me to do a few things. And then the middle one, the main one, is they didn't want to. So that just sort of hit home. It's like, okay, I'm telling you to do more, more, and more. Why haven't you done it yet? Because you know this stuff. I'm not teaching you anything totally new. It's probably that you didn't know you're supposed to do it. You didn't know how to do it. You didn't know when you were supposed to do it, or what to prioritize, or you simply didn't want to. So think about that with your customer. Think about that with your potential customer. Why are they not buying from you? Why are they not taking your solution? Did they not know that your solution exists? Actually, I'm just going to put this on the board because it actually will help you in a different way. I think it will help you in a different way. That they were supposed to, how, when, which priority, and then didn't want to. Why haven't they bought from you? So this would be good for people who are thinking about what content to make and what ads to make. Hormozi used this for something different. He used it for employees, but I'm going to use it for customers. Why haven't they bought from you? Because they didn't know they were supposed to. They didn't know it existed. This is a big thing. They don't know that you exist or that the solution you have exists. And if that's the case, which a lot of times it is, that means you need to do what? More. You need to get out to more people. You need to get more money so that you can get in front of more people. You need to do more content. You need to do all 4 or 2 or 3 or 1 of the traffic sources. Now, if you're my sprint, you're choosing 1 or 2 of those traffic sources. They may not know how. May not know how to buy from you or how to even get started. So when you think about content, what content could you make that solves this? That is just this top of funnel, this exists sort of thing. Yeah. What kind of content can you make that shows people how to use your product? So I made some content that talks about my prompt shop. It's a new offer, prompt shop in a box. Buy 100 plus of my prompts and get the resale rights to them. So you can use them for yourself and you can resell them. It's just $99 while I record this. So I just did a few videos that said that. I didn't do one video that said that. I did several videos that said that. And I didn't only do it on YouTube. I did it in email. I did it on Instagram. I did it on, I will do it on LinkedIn. I did it word of mouth. And then what kind of video could you make to show someone how? I got a lot of people before we did the official launch that said, this sounds interesting, prop shop in a box, but I don't know how I would do it, or how does this work? What will I need? So I made content about how to use my product. This is really important, y'all. If you do this with your content, you're off to the races. Anybody getting anything from this? Some people may not understand when your solution is needed. Like, why is now the time? Why is it urgent that I do it now? You have an answer to that. Yeah, forget about the employee part. This isn't about employees. This is about talking to your customer. You know why now is the time. Let other people know why now is the time. And then they don't know which to prioritize. So I said to you earlier in this conversation, if you've been here the whole time, I said that you need a guide. But you may not know, is that going to be Arlan? Do I work with Arlan? Do I work with this other person that said that they could help me? Do I work with these 5 other people? Do I work with more than one? It's your job, and it's my job for me to make sure you know that you need to prioritize my help, because I'm going to help you faster. So it's your job to let people know that they need to go to you first. And then if somebody has seen it, they know what it is, how to use it, they know that it's important, and they know that it's a priority, but they don't want to. That's kind of like the last thing that you need to worry about. Because you're not going to get 100% of the people you're in front of. These break all of these like set the leverage up. So take a picture of this before I put it down, or take it down. But why haven't they bought? They didn't know they were supposed to. They didn't know how to use it or how to get it from you. They didn't know when they needed this solution that is supposedly yours. And they didn't know that they were supposed to prioritize you. Every time you don't put up a video, or you don't explain how your product works, or you're too timid to let the world know about your offer, that same person is buying something similar from someone else, and it's probably a inferior product. It's probably not as good as your solution, because you're being so worried about, I don't want to put myself out there. If you knew, let me ask this question. If you knew that by putting yourself out there in a week, you would have $10,000 extra dollars. Like if you had foresight and somebody took you into the future, and they said, because you put yourself out there, you got $10,000. Would you do it? Would you care about what other people thought? Or would you take your dollar bills or whatever bills you have in your country and just dab your tears and say, oh, they don't think I'm cool. They think I'm a dork, or I'm thirsty. Let me tell you, that's what's happening, really. I'm from the future, and I'm telling you that you can make money by putting yourself out there more, by putting up the other video, by telling your story, by explaining things to people who are brand new, by not doubting yourself and your abilities, and not questioning who will buy from you. Somebody will. I love the comments here. Okay. So this next page is just one person who came up and interviewed Hormozi, but really just gave him his take on his business and asked Hormozi for advice. And if you're just joining, I'm taking my handwritten notes. Hold on a second. I'm taking my handwritten notes from yesterday in Vegas at the acquisition.com headquarters. And I'm giving you some of these really great takeaways that we got in that room, that small room with Hormozi. We spent hours and hours. So I'm going to go over what this case study was, because I think it'll help. Okay. This dude I won't tell his name or anything because I don't know what they want from that, but I'll just tell you what he said. Now, while I'm doing that, I want you all to listen, but I also want you to tell me what's been your biggest takeaway so far. What are you going to do that you weren't going to do 50 minutes ago? Wendy says, I'm posting more now that the book has been published. Thanks for the encouragement. Rodney says, that's a great point. I never thought about walking my audience through how to implement my digital product or making it available for resale. Post the content. Stop overthinking. You all are getting this. You all are, the most engaged people I know, right? I'm around a lot of groups, and you all are amazing. So I know you get this. Just sometimes you got to say it. Sometimes people got to tell me stuff. I was told stuff yesterday that I know that already, but I got to do that. I know I need to do 10 times what I'm doing. Yep, let's go. Okay. So this dude, his business gets leads, right? He is successful, but he considers himself a key man risk. And a key man risk is if one person leaves the company and the company can't run. That's like you're the key person, a key man. And they even put this into documents and legal documents. Like, are you the key man? I don't want to buy your company because if I buy your company and something happens to you, something's wrong, right? So this was his problem. He said he had really great churn, meaning the number of people who would leave every month. So of his customers, only 4% left every month. That's really good churn. He also had 64% gross profit, which is great. And he recently started Facebook ads because Hormozi talks about the 4 core traffic. He had been doing all of them except for ads. So he just turned those on. And when he turned those on just a few days ago, like 30 days ago, they worked like a charm. And he got so many inbound leads. And his problem was his operations are broken because he's not used to having that many customers. Isn't that a great problem to have? But his problem was, I'm the key man. I'm the only person that's really like, if I leave, I go on vacation, everything breaks. And that's most of you because you're doing solopreneur stuff. We talked about the woman power. It's another good reason to think about fractional help. So another thing that I should say is that he realized that when he gives people great leads, his customers have the great leads, but they have a hard time closing. So what he did was he developed a course that people can go through pretty quickly so that they can be better customers. His biggest constraint is that his operations are breaking because he has a small team of himself and a couple of VAs, virtual assistants. So now this is what Hormozi said. This is what Hormozi said. I'm key man risk too. If I die, all of this gets hard. And everybody laughed. And it's true. If Hormozi something were to happen to Hormozi, it would be tough to do the exact shtick, right? He does have dozens and dozens and dozens of employees, probably more than 200. So the business itself would keep going. But he was just making the point that it's relatable, okay? So one thing he said just out the gate was to give a rebate to any of his customers who complete the course. He liked the fact that the guy had started a course because that will make his customers more well-informed. But he said to use it to do more than one thing, add what? Leverage. Give a discount on the first month or the second month if someone finishes the course, which makes them a better customer. They can, you give them the good leads. They now know they're trained how to use them. And it incentivizes people to look at the course. Isn't that cool? I thought that was really smart. Then he said something really important that I want everybody to pay attention to. He said, forget about output-based goals and think about input-based goals. So as an example, instead of, I want to make $10,000 by next Friday, which totally okay to say that, say, because that's a output. That's like what the final thing is. I want that output on the other side of the equal sign. He said, say, I'm willing to send 1,000 cold emails. Because that's the input. You cannot necessarily control the output, but can't you control the input? Can't you control, like what I did years ago when I wanted to be a tour manager and a tour production assistant? I sent an email out to 100 production managers and tour managers. Way before we had all this stuff, we could do that more easily. So one by one, I searched for them. It took me 2 months to do this. I sent them an individual email, told them I wanted to be their assistant. I got 20 responses. I got 3 in-person meetings, and I got my first international touring gig with a well-known musician. Because I controlled the inputs. I controlled what I was able to make happen. I didn't control what was going to happen on the other side. The other side happened because I did what I could, because I did what I could control. So right now, tell me in the chat, tell us in the chat, what is something you could do this week that you can control that you were not planning on doing before, but you can control it and you will do it? That will give you more leverage. Another thing Hormozi said to this person was crank those ads. Now that they're working, as soon as you do these 2 things, or this one, as soon as you do the thing where you do the rebate and you focus on your input, he said, hire 2 people for onboarding and customer success. Onboarding and customer success. This will lower his profit margin in the beginning because he will be spending money on those 2 people. So instead of 64% profit margins, he might have 50% or 40% or 30% profit margins today. But if he, and Hormozi said, this is going to hurt you for 1 to 2 months. It's going to sting. It's going to sting because you just got those numbers up. But then after 2 months, because you have someone taking so much off your plate, onboarding and customer success, and you're cranking the ads, you're going to go from maybe $100,000 a month to $200,000 a month. And then your profit margins will go higher again because you're going to have the same number of people that you're paying. Tell me if this makes sense. So your answers have been, I'm going to put more content out. I'm going to go live on school, more outreach about my offer, more content. I'm going to start. I can make more workout. I can make workout videos on YouTube. I can engage a young person to help me with some admin tasks so I can redirect my energy. Yes. Who feels excited about all this? I feel excited about it. I get so geeked out on this stuff. Yeah, I'll repost this in the 100 sprint because we're having our call tomorrow, Meg. We have our call tomorrow, and my whole plan was to go deeper on these because I basically am giving you 2 or 3 pages of 20 pages here, but in our 100 sprint, absolutely, I will not only repost but I'll go deeper. Okay, I can launch my school and create my digital product, post it for sale, and put out YouTube content. Okay. So I think a big takeaway I want to make sure everybody caught with that one is, yes, you may have to spend some money up front. You may have to invest. Everybody, all of us invest to be an entrepreneur. It's just the way it is. But if you do it strategically and with leverage, methodically, thought out, and you have patience, that could pay off for you. Okay. Who wants to hear another case study? Is that helping people? You type, I'll be right back. Another one. Okay. Oh, thank you, Mental Health Fit. You are so sweet to say that. Let me just go ahead and tell you that you can kiss my ass and you can also leave. Thank you. Bye. Bye. Hi, everybody. Where do you find reliable onboarding and customer support? In 2026, you'll be able to find it with hirerunner.co again, because we're coming back. But Fiverr is good. Like Fiverr can help you. Upwork, you know what? If you have a school group, if you have a school membership, look at that leaderboard. Look at that leaderboard and see who's high on that leaderboard, who is engaged. Reach out to them, see if you can jump on a Zoom and just get to know them and see if there's somebody you would want to work with, or they have the skills you're looking for, et cetera. Because sometimes you're going to find them. I find incredible people in my memberships by doing that. Thank you. I don't need a positive reinforcement about my looks. I'm quite happy with myself. But if people are going to be rude, if somebody was rude to you, I would have kicked them out too. You were like spicy Arlan, okay. I know, right? How are you going to have a name like that and say what you do? Yeah, so school is it's like a gold mine for, like, if you have your own school. How many people here have their own school account? Like they're not just somebody who is a member, which is great too. Yep, Tanya has one. We're going to get into some really fun stuff when it comes to tiers. I'm going to do some really awesome teaching. So if you're not in your first 5K or Arlan's All Access yet, you're going to want to join that. You're going to want to join. Pretty much anything I'm doing is going to be lit for the rest of the year. All right. A lot of people, I love it. Y'all seeing my school ads? They're putting so much money behind those school ads. It's so crazy. Everywhere I go, I'm seeing them because people are posting and doing stuff. Okay. Yeah, if you don't have a school yet, it's a good idea to get one in the next couple of weeks. First of all, you get a 2-week free like a free trial. But second of all, they're starting tiers, which means you can have a free membership and then charge some people money. So it's a freemium model that is just going to blow everything apart in a great way. And I'm going to teach that inside of my memberships. So it's going to be cool. It's going to be cool. Okay. So everybody said that you do want another case study. I will give you another case study. This person has a business that makes sales funnels for people. So websites that are like funnels. They run workshops and they used to split their focus. And his big question to Hormozi was, and you probably have this question for me, okay? With all of your content being available, why do you think entrepreneurs are still not scaling as fast as they want to, like growing as fast as they want to? And Alex said very quickly, he said, it's an inability to delay gratification. So for my words, they want to scale, but they don't want to change what they do to scale. They want to do things that they've been doing this whole time, but they also want the outputs to be different. So how is that possible? How is that reasonable? He also said having stamina, being patient. He said they also get stuck on how to do some part of the process. They get frustrated and then they stop. Who got red just now? One little part of the process that they can't figure that part out. They get stuck and frustrated. So they're like, nope, done. So the inability was inability to delay gratification. You want what you want and you want it now. We're human. That's how we feel. But that was his answer to why are people able to see all your content? I feel the same way. They say all this content, 600 videos, but they're still not scaling. People would ask me, why do you have a book called Your First Million? Why isn't everybody a millionaire who watched it, who read it? Let me tell you, only a small percentage of the people who see Your First Million are going to buy it or get it from the library where it's available. Only a percentage of those people who read it or who buy it will actually read it or listen to it on audio. How many books do I have on my bookshelf that I'm staring at right now? Billions of them. How many have I gotten around to read? A third? I mean, still a lot. I've still read a lot and I read a lot, but I have friends who have books that I still have not read. People get so nervous when they tell me they haven't read my books yet. And I'm like, I get it. But that's the answer. Why do you have a book called Your First Million and you don't have a bunch of millionaires? Because most of the people who know about it will not get it. The people who get it, most of those will not read it. And then the people who read it, most of those won't do what I say from the book. Debbie says, Arlan's memberships have given me so much hope for a fantastic future. You will never regret joining. Best decision ever. Thank you. Okay. So we'll continue. So Hormozi gave this example of being like a marathon coach. And he was like saying, okay, he's going to say, okay, run. And then the person running says, how long? And he says, his answer to that is run, period. And then they say, what if? And then his answer is run. And so on. So what he means is, and tell me what you think that means in the chat, actually. Let me know what you think that just meant. If his answer to every question while you're learning a marathon is run, what does that mean to you as an entrepreneur? Thank you, Rain. Thank you, Sabrina. Amber says it means to keep going. Wendy means it means don't. Brenda says don't stop. Lisa says just do it. Stop delaying. Says the plant plan. You keep going despite what it looks like. Des says. Listen to someone with experience. Nima, very good. Keep going, keep going. Exactly. The answer is, and you don't even have to have somebody else telling you this. That's your answer to yourself. What do I do? Keep going. Keep running. Do hard things because you can. So one thing that was asked of Hormozi is what does he think about the future of business in general? Like, where does he see it? He says that growing your business will continue to get easier and easier because of AI. So focus on the constraint that you have and fix it as soon as you can in order to go from 0 to 100,000, 100,000 to 1 million, and 1 million to 10 million. So, yeah, I'll come back to this. So what he's saying is basically the how to get there. Like, anybody can get a business that makes $1 million, right? So, I mean, and if I'm being honest with you, he said 10 million. I'm saying 1 million because I want people to listen to me. But he actually said 10 million because the people in that room had all made $1 million already. $1 million wasn't nothing to sneeze at. I mean, wasn't nothing that was interesting. But do you understand, being in these rooms, and I'm looking around, who's in these rooms? Guess who's in these rooms? We need to get into our state of, $100,000, that's nothing. $100,000, can you talk to me about 300, please? Because $100,000, I've done that. That's where we need to get you. So he's saying that anybody can do $1 million company. And it's going to be even easier to make $1 million company happen because of AI, technology, and all that. So what you need to do is find your one constraint or the biggest constraint you have and hyper focus on fixing it so that you are not the problem. So what you're going to do is you're going to go back to what we talked about earlier and say, okay, what is my biggest constraint? I learned a few things now about how I could solve that. What am I going to do about it? What are you going to do about your biggest constraint? What are you going to do to put yourself in a position where you can be in rooms like this. How, focus on one. Okay. So this same person had what he thought were 3 different businesses. If you're in my sprint, my premium sprint in our small group, you will recognize this from our first week about offers. Because I said, let's look at what your offers are. So some people said, well, I have so many offers, I don't know what to do with them. And I said, let's look at that, because what you might not have are several offers. You might have several tiers of the same offer. And that means you can upsell and downsell throughout. So that's exactly what happened live yesterday. Hormozi was talking to this one guy with the funnels, and he told him, I have 3 different companies. They're all doing well, but I don't know which one to prioritize. I don't know what to do. I have a big team and overhead. And he said, well, what are they? And he said, yeah, there are 3 different ones. And he said, okay, what are they? And he told him. And he said, no, you don't have 3 different companies. You have one company with 3 products. They are aligned. So you can get rid of some of the expenses that are duplicated, that are on your team, etc. And you can then hyper focus, and always goes back to focus, and then think about how he can market in a different way now that he knows that. Now, the next thing Hormozi said, it was a very quiet room and it was being filmed. And the next thing he said, I forgot where I was, and I went, mm-hmm. So hopefully they'll cut that out. I'm going to write this quote down because I think it is so good. And may we all have this problem. Okay. While I'm writing this, tell me what you're getting, what the takeaways are so far. What's your favorite part of this so far? And the reason he said this to this person is because the person basically said everything was going well. And he was trying to get an answer about what do I do different? And he was saying, well, it's going well. And his answer was, just keep doing what you're doing. Do more of what is working. Okay. Think about this. This is what he said to the dude after he figured out that the guy really didn't have any business problems, that he was creating problems. He wanted there to be a problem. Great takeaways, y'all. So Hormozi said, so everybody take a picture of this, post it places, tag Hormozi, tag him. I think this is probably my favorite quote of the day. Most people destroy their own success because they don't know how to handle it. We get in our own way. And it made me sad when he first said it, because I'm like, it's so true. I don't feel like I've done that to myself, but I know people who have, because they're not used to winning. They're not used to what success feels like. And they self-sabotage. And it may be why something is working. One little thing over here has been working, and you're hell-bent on figuring out 10 other things. Yeah, it was deep for me. Focus is so important. That's another thing that came up so often. That's why we're doing our sprint the way we're doing it. It's hyper-focused. And by the way, I am not taking anybody new into the sprint after October 31st. I made that decision last week. Nobody new into my premium sprint after October 31st, because we are so focused ourselves. I don't want to have any distractions of people who are catching up. If you join now, it's easy to catch up because of the way that I've set it up. And then the work that we're going to do from November 1st through December 31st is going to be pretty awesome. So I'm going to put that link one more time for anybody who's interested. Join us before we close those doors. Payment plans are available. And anybody who has heard me talk about my prompt shop, my sprint, my premium sprint, any of my memberships, and you want me to tell you more, just let me know in the chat. So here's something that will be beneficial to some of you. Actually, you know what? I'm going to skip this one. I'm going to skip this one. I'm saving this one for my inner circle. All good. Don't worry. If you're in inner circle, I'll share it with you. Just remind me. Okay. Yep, that whole, I'm going to write myself a note that this is all inner circle. Because we're talking about some bigger numbers here. Do more of what's working. I hope that's a big takeaway. Okay, here's another really great quote. It wasn't Hormozi's, but it was his friend. And he quoted it yesterday. Okay. So his friend, forgot what I think his friend inherited a bunch of money and something or other. I can't remember exactly how this quote came about, but he said, you ready for it? Sometimes the most profitable thing you can do, can y'all hear me? Do is can y'all hear me when I have my back turned? Cool. Sometimes the most profitable thing you can do is wait. It goes back to what we were talking about earlier about those 36 months, 36 years, 36 weeks that most people won't do. Sometimes the most profitable thing you can do is wait. And what they were talking about is that, I'll give an example. So we can't see each other raising each other's hands. Thank you, Tanya. The prompt shop is dope, is bomb. Thank you. I took some poetic license there. Okay. So, but we can't do it. We can do a raise of hands. Either you can put the letter A if your answer is yes, and put the letter B if your answer is no. So who here has a company or business that is not your first business? So A is yes, this is not my first business. I do have a slight delay in the chat for spam purposes. So who here, this is not your first business? A. If it is your first business, you would put B. Okay. Now, of those who put A, and everybody who put B, watch this. Who here, this current business is doing better or has scaled faster than your previous ones? So if it's okay, so put a 1 if it's scaled faster. 1 if it's scaled faster. Where it's easier to do this business than it was to do the first one. And put a 2 if it's harder to do this business. Does that make sense? So if you put an A already, and this business has more traction or something about it is easier than the previous one for you, put a 1. If the previous business was easier, put a 2. Okay. So what I'm seeing is about half and half on the A, B. So some people have new businesses for the first time, and some people this is second, third time around. And then maybe 60% of the people so far who have answered have an easier time slightly with this new business? The reason I'm asking you this and saying this, well, we got a lot of twos. In the room, I'll tell you, more people, including me, kept their hand up to say, this one has been easier. And it makes sense because we're in this room because things were working for us, right? The point of it is, though, is that businesses don't change. Like having a course or coaching or selling some beauty product or doing any of this has been going on for decades and decades and centuries and millennia in some cases, in some way or another. You got better. Hear me when I say the punchline is you got better. Because sometimes the most profitable thing you can do is wait. That doesn't mean sit idly by. It just means time and patience will help you get better. Like you will be more seasoned. You will be better. And if you're at 2 and things are tougher for you, this is a really interesting place for you. Because you need to go back to your first business or the business that you're referring to and remind yourself what worked. What made it easier? And don't use an excuse like, well, it was during COVID and everybody was buying, or I had a partner, or don't use excuses. Go back and see what really worked. It was during COVID. So what? Ad prices were down. So that means you were doing ads. What kind of ads did the best? Pound for pound. What can you do over here? You had a partner. What were they doing? What helped you? Could you get another partner? Could you get some employees? Could you do something different? Because you are getting better. Whether you feel like it or not, you are getting better. Okay, so we had more let me see here. Okay, I think I'll do one more of these examples because I think this one's going to help you a lot too. Y'all still with me? I see we have some people have joined. It's so good to see you. If you're new to this live, I'm taking what I learned at acquisition.com's headquarters, which is Alex Hormozi's company in Las Vegas. I was there because I won top affiliate. I was number 15 out of 22,000 people, and the top 50 were in the room. I took these handwritten notes, and I'm just laying them out for you with my own spin. And the replay of this should be available a little bit later, as long as there's no technical issue with YouTube, which I've never had, so knock wood. And if you have not joined my prompt shop, there is a link that is pinned at the top of the chat. $99 helps you. It gives you the prompts. So that, first of all, even if you just did it to get the prompts, you're getting more than $1,000 worth of prompts now because I've added some. $1,000+ worth of prompts for $99, limited price. On top of that, you get my resale license. So you are able to take these prompts that I hand to you in a box digitally and resell one or bundles of them as you would like, with your own name, white label, your own spin to it. On top of that, you get a GPT that I have trained to give you an unlimited number of prompts. So you can start with the 100 of mine, or just a couple of mine, or none of mine, and then you can make an unlimited amount that are in your niche. And there are several people here who are in it because it's on school, and we've only been launched for 3 days. And people are already there. Somebody already called it their favorite purchase of their entire career. So I'm going to go ahead and agree with that. So if you want that, go to the link above. The price will go up in a few days. I don't want you to miss that. Okay. Yes. Now, this one, I like this one, okay? Oh, that one's good too. Darn it. Okay, so this person, these are all kind of like software as a service or agencies, pretty similar. This one had cold outreach. They were an agency that helped you with cold outreach for business to business, B2B. They made about $100,000 a month. And so they work with companies that make $1 million a year plus. That's kind of their target audience. And I'm just going through to make sure I'm not giving too much information away. Okay. So their YouTube audience, because they are using YouTube as their content pillar here, is people doing cold outreach or those interested in doing cold outreach. So then the question that they asked Hormozi was, what business, let me see, what biz more suited for cold? They said something like, I can't read my own handwriting, what business is more suited for cold outreach? And he said, the more specific the target, the more important cold outreach is. Okay, so the higher the ticket, I get it now. The more expensive something is, like an offer that you sell, and the more specific and niche your target is, the more important cold outreach becomes. So you remember I said that mine wasn't cold outreach was my least favorite of the 4 core traffic sources. Well, Hormozi may be explaining why, because he's saying if cold outreach really works best for very high ticket and even business to business, not always, you can do business to consumer, and like a $10,000 offer minimum, he's saying, because you can get volume on that and you can hunt whales. You can go after the big guys and gals. But what he did say was, even with that, because that won't be as relatable to most people, he said you still want to bolt on organic for the reasons I described earlier. And then he said this, and I'm going to quote it because it's literally the quote. I didn't know this, but it's literally the quote of our sprint. Okay? Everybody. Okay. This is what he said to this guy who makes $1 million a year, and he told everybody else. One channel, one audience, $1 million a year, focus. And I'm going to do this so you can take a picture and send it to him. Send this to him on Instagram. Take a picture of it, tag him, say you learned it here. So this is what I teach in my sprint. This is what I've been teaching forever. Even Hormozi, who just made $100 million a few weekends ago, still says this. You want to choose one channel. He didn't mean just, the person was thinking, I'm going to make 2 or 3 YouTube channels. He's like, please don't do that. And some of y'all come to me and you're like, okay, I'm going to do a second YouTube channel because it's going to be about this other topic, even though I have 2,000 subscribers over here. And I'm like, So he's saying do one channel. You can replace this with whatever your traffic source may be. One audience until you make $1 million a year. Focus. Yeah. So Alex is very big on YouTube. If you're not familiar, he is probably the most followed coach type there is on YouTube. His total addressable market, as he put it, is probably 1.5 million or 36 million people or something in the US. So for him to have 10% of that on YouTube is pretty incredible. So, but he says what he likes to do now, so he's a little further ahead than most, but he says he likes to use organic for nurturing and lead generation instead of just lead generation. So when we think about, we're going to still use it for lead gen, okay? Because we haven't made $100 million over a weekend. We all agree on that? So we're going to use it for both. When we think about traffic, we're thinking about, I need more people to see my stuff. That's what a lot of people said earlier when I said, what was your bottleneck? I need more people to see. Well, I'm telling you, if you post 3 times a week on YouTube for 2 months, something will start to happen. It just will. If you do kind of the guidelines that I give you in my memberships and you're consistent with it, something will start to happen. So that's lead gen. But he says, and this is what I've taught as well, also use it for nurturing. So if you're in my sprint, you know, my premium sprint, you know that we've been talking a lot about email nurture and where how much gold is in the email nurture. Somebody signs up for something, they may even buy something, but even if they don't buy something, if you get their email address and you can nurture them over several emails, many of them will end up purchasing from you. What Alex likes to do, and what Colin Yearwood and I have taught a lot, is when most of the sales that you're going to do are going to be on calls, one-on-one conversations. That's another thing. If you have not made a sale in a long time and you're wondering why you can't make a sale, no matter what it costs, get on a call with somebody. Get on a Zoom. Get on a call. Don't just send them to a website and hope that they figure it out. Have 30 conversations. This is what the synthesizer guys said yesterday, and I'm going to share that to another video where they said if you need to have 30 calls before you can make a determination about your offer. I don't care if that offer costs $100. Get on a call, because until you've made the money you want to make, you got to be willing to do stuff. So what Alex does with his YouTube videos, and I've seen him do it because I'm a customer of his, is that, of course, he'll put out the big videos that get hundreds of thousands of views, but he'll also make unlisted videos. And when after you buy something from him, if you're going to get on a call with his team, or just in general, if he's going to sell you something, he sends you to one of his videos and he walks you through something. He nurtures you. And let's say you're going to have a call with somebody in 3 days. There should be a video that you have filmed one time that explains your offer so well that if you send that link and tell the person before they have the call with you, watch this video first, that they get on the call with you and they're ready to pay you. I think this might be the most important part of this whole 90 minutes so far. Did y'all catch that? Not talking about a public video necessarily. It could be a public video, by the way. It could be a public one, but you just don't put it up and leave it behind. You send people the link to it who are going to be on a call with you. And you have calls to begin with. Many of you are not doing calls. Many of you are not doing calls. You got to have conversations. Come back to me when you've had 30 calls. Have 30 calls about it. That means whatever your traffic source is, your warm outreach, your cold outreach, instead of reaching out to somebody and saying, hey, do you want to buy this? Say, hey, can we get on a call? I want to talk to you about what I'm doing. Or are you still struggling with this? Get on calls. Yes, and when you do it on YouTube, you're going to make it unlisted or public. So the public one is like, I want to put this out to the world this day, and I'll keep linking it in my nurture sequence to when somebody books a call with me. If you want to do it unlisted, it's a special video that nobody else has seen, only the people getting on calls with you. And that way you can be even more loose with it. You don't have to worry about the hook and the this and the that retention. It's just more about you explaining the stuff. So this next part, Alex talks about the difference. And again, these are hot, big numbers. So this is where I'll dive in more in the sprint and inner circle. So he's talking about agencies. A lot of people in the room have agencies and coaching, and we all have that, coaching, consulting, maybe. So he says that agencies and consulting firms are easy, ready for this? Easy to get to $1 million or $10 million per year. But he was saying it like that's child's play. But we're going to stay in there a little bit. He said, then it becomes difficult because it's harder to attract talent and your exact avatar. Now, what he said was, every business incurs debt when they start. Talked about this a little bit earlier. I said we all make an investment when we start. He's calling it debt, right? They either, let me do this. You all are doing a great job, by the way. Who's been here since I started this live? Just say me in the chat if you've been here the whole time. It's okay if you haven't. I just want to say hi to my minute ones. Yeah, what's up, Simple Digital Product Creator? That's a great name. What's up, Wendy? Thank you. I'm going to assume that it's helping because you're still here. Thank you, Bobby, Nisha, Debbie, Rain. Okay, so every business incurs debt when they start. This is what Hormozi said. That could be because you're spending money. And this should make you feel better because it's almost impossible to do something from 0, 0, 0. You got to put something in, right? So money, and this is and or reputation, talent, meaning people. I would add skills and time and all that, right? Like skills, time, energy, priorities. You have other priorities, so you're spending that. You're in debt. You're in debt to the skill. Like you're kind of like you have a deficit when you start. You have to build those skills. So you spend time on them. You have time that you have to put into energy, and then other priorities like your family. Like, I have to remind myself, hey, this business of mine and this career of mine and this dream of mine is not my partner's, vice versa. So I need to make time. Okay. Yeah, the links are not showing because YouTube is trying to avoid spam. So I dig that. So I'm going to put the link to your first 5K in the chat because I know people are asking about it. It's the best one is to join if you're just getting started with me or just in your business. It's where the party's at. You can graduate to all access, but there's more information about that soon inside of it. And then this prompt shop in a box is the pinned post at the top of the page. And I can't wait to see so many of you I can hear the cha-ching. I know you're joining. Okay. So this is what happens when you start here. You, at the beginning, and again, I'm going to read you a little bit. You sell to people who pay you anything instead of charging more to the correct customer and waiting for the outcomes. Right? Just getting started. I'll charge a little bit, or I'll take any amount of money they're willing to give me. I'll do discounts all day. I'll do whatever it takes instead of having the patience to say what is the right price to charge, who is the right customer, and I'm willing to wait for those right outcomes. So as soon as possible, I want you to charge more for the right customer and do less with your time. Don't spin your wheels. If you notice, everybody here, all three of the people we talked to already, talked about in the case studies, that even successful, all of them had a time management issue, had an operations bottleneck, had a people issue. And when you charge more for what you offer, and you can make the offer better and charge more if you want, then you're able to serve fewer people as customers. And therefore, you don't have to do as much work. So something you have costs $197. Add a 1 to it. I'm going to forever think about that time I saw that when I was doing the school mastermind a couple weekends ago. And this woman, she just walked up to the whiteboard. She said, "How much do you charge?" And the woman said, "Oh, I charge $197." And she said, "Okay, great. This is your new price." She said, just add a 1 to anything. Just add a 1. Write the words add a 1 in the chat if you're hearing that. Just charge more. Do less. Just charge more, work with fewer people, and take more off of your plate. Because you're probably already charging too little, and you're probably already, and this is what we don't talk about enough, you're probably focused on the wrong customer avatar. Yeah, if you're charging $98, it's now $198. Go for it. Continue to raise your rates, sell to richer people. Now, Hormozi did this. He's done this in the past in some of his videos, but he put this on his whiteboard. And it's a simple little image or little drawing. Okay, so he put this and then this. What did he do? Messed it up. Okay, he did this. These two. Look where they start and where the symbols are. And just imagine these are like tick marks of money. More money. Same here. More money. Okay, so what he's saying here is, this is interesting. Now, a lot of us don't need to worry too much about this yet, but I wanted to get it into your heads because I respect you and I want you to be thinking about your millions today. I don't want to talk down to you like you're not going to get here. You're going to get here. You're going to be in these same rooms. And for some of you, this will apply today. So he said, this is how an info or coaching business works. It has the ability to shoot up and scale and make you, and let's just say this is, right? Shoot up. This is good news for us because most of us are doing this. But then it tapers off and it just gets linear. So you can get to, and again, he was using numbers like 10 million. So you can get here with an info business. I'll take it, by the way. 1 to 10 million, I like that. Think about Rachel Rogers, Danielle Leslie, Terry Gioma, Stephanie Perry. This is what they're doing. This is what most of us will do. This is fun. Now this is a service business. So SaaS, anybody know what SaaS stands for? I'll tell you, but software as a service. So any software that you use, including school, is SaaS. But the word service is often forgotten because we always think about software. Service is doing something for other people. You can think of it as do it for you. School, you don't have to know tech. You just sign up. It's done for you. It's software as a service. If you make my website for me, that's a service, right? It's done for you. This one takes longer to make work, but then can go to the moon. Right? So what he's saying here, hold on. What he's saying here is that for people who want to have $10 to $100 million a year businesses, do a service, especially if it's SaaS, where no person has to do anything except for maintain it. So that's cool too. I work with 200 businesses that want to do this. That's why I've invested in them. Okay, so that's cool. That's great. But this is interesting. I just thought this was super interesting when he did that. It's easy to make lots of money, but you can't get past 10 million. And most people won't get past $1 million, right? But who here wants $1 million a year by coaching people? Because I wrote in my notes when he did this, I wrote, anytime I had my own thoughts, I wrote my name and I said, let's get you to $1 million. Then we can decide about the rest. But I meant, because you all were with me in that room. That's why I went to it. If I'm being honest, I probably would not have gone if I didn't know I would bring a lot of this back to you. So that's what I said. Let's get you to $1 million. Everybody here can do that. At the beginning of this, Alex said, everybody can get to $1 million business. Everybody. Oops. Go away, Siri. Okay. I'm going to put this down for inner circle and my sprint. And I'm going to see if there's one last takeaway. I love this one. We'll end on this. I'm erasing this too because it's a bigger one. Okay, everybody. So this is gonna be good. I think this will give us a lot to walk away with. Make sure before we go that you have all of those pages clicked and those links if you're interested. Let me know in the chat if you joined while we were talking or if you plan on joining the prompt shop, your first 5K, the sprint, or any of that. Anything we talked about, let me know if you're planning on joining. Okay, put leverage back because that's super important. Right? This is gonna be a big takeaway for everybody. We're gonna end this with a bang. Yep. Everybody join. All right. So this person came up and said that they are making I don't know what it says. On a given year they'll make between $1 and $3 million. And it's about affiliate marketing. And they have coaching and a software. They have a YouTube channel that does well for them. So when people watch the videos, they convert, but he doesn't have a lot of views. So he says, how do I go from 1 to 3 million to 10 million? Alex says you convert more by having a sales team, paid ads to more of an audience, a bigger audience, and more content. Okay. So let's see. So he made this. I thought this was really great. Okay. So right here is where most people are now. You know, if they have something going on, this is where they're making their money. And this is all of your total addressable market. This is what you could be selling to. Okay. And he was showing this person how to get more people to get more a piece of the market and how to even create more of a market. So one of the things that he said, well, I'll come back to it. Okay, so we'll do this. So here he suggested run targeted ads. And this one was convert more people. So he wanted him to add ads because he was already at 1 to 3 million. So something's working. It's ads work when the offer works. Ads work when the offer works. You can throw money at ads when your offer is working. Now there's all kinds of nuance to this, but have that in mind. So he wants, I'll put the retargeted ads. We're talking about the content. So there's this huge chunk here with ads that he's missing out on, because for some reason he wasn't running ads. That was very surprising to me. And then once you have people who are going through your process, whether they see you on YouTube or ads or your other traffic sources, convert more. Sounds simple. Makes sense. Convert more. What can you look at when it comes to the different pieces of your process, your sales process, your marketing process? So you have the people. The sales process now is, I have leads. I need, out of 10 people, only one converts to a sale. How do I get 2 to 3 people to convert? You look at what worked with the 1 out of 10 and do more of that. Wendy, you charge $10,000 and have no takers yet. Are you in my sprint? If you're in my sprint, I don't think you are. Then we can talk about it there in the comment. If you're not, which I don't think you are, join it. Thank you. Trivia Speak says, don't forget to hit the like button, everyone. I appreciate that. That is going to help. Because it'll get to, when I do the replay, it'll get out to more people. Because imagine, let's get as many people as we can to see these 2 hours. And then here, anybody curious as to how Alex suggests he adds to his total addressable market? It goes back full circle. Yeah, so Lisa, when I said add a 1, I was being a little silly because you don't just add a 1 overnight. But I want you to have that mentality. And a lot of times, sometimes adding a 1 does help if you have other things in place. So you're gonna do what you need to do to get the first couple of people to buy it, so you can have that proof of concept. You know it's a good offer. You have those testimonials and those case studies, and then you're going to experiment with pricing. You might even do it for free for the first couple of people so that you can have all those things I just listed. And anybody who has a question in the chat that I haven't answered, I don't just do this on YouTube once every blue moon, or I have these memberships. That's why you should be in them. If you're in one of my memberships, let the audience know that they should be in it. Okay, so this is make more and better YouTube content. I even have a YouTube accelerator inside my Your First 5K. I also, if you go to my Stand store, I'll put that link here. I have a YouTube course that teaches you how to monetize your YouTube channel. First day. Let's see. I'll put my Stand store here. I have all kinds of great courses to get you started. Sales, really awesome sales course in there, by the way. So if you like this kind of stuff, our sales course inside of the Stand store is going to be for you. Especially if you're selling anything that costs $1,000 or more, the sales course is yours. It's for you. So it's a sprint. So this is how Alex suggested that this guy making $1 to $3 million could get more of his current total addressable market. Currently, what he believes are the total number of people he could reach. Do some ads that are targeted and retargeted, and then convert more people in that sales process. There are many ways to convert more people. I teach it in that Stand store course. I teach it in all of my memberships. And then make more and better YouTube content. What could you do to do more? Make more and better YouTube content. Who here can make more and better YouTube content, do you think? Who here is willing to try? T. Latrice says, I plan to join the prompt shop and your first 5K. I am a complete newbie and need this exact guidance. I'm working through your revenue playbook now. This is a very perfect thing to do, is join your first 5K. It's $50 for the year. It's so, so, so good, y'all. So look how many people are saying that they're willing to try to do more and better content. Nisha says, I've gotten more done in the last 30 days than I have in the last 6 months by being in your first 5K. Lisa says, I joined Arlan's community in August, and it's been my basis for staying focused. Listen, Rodney says, I have a digital product that I can sell for upwards of $497. I add a 1 to deliver as a done for you, and I've sold more of the higher ticket than the digital product. Because people, when things cost more, your right customer believes that it's more valuable. If you came to me and said, hey, Arlan, I want to give you a makeover. We'll talk about the lady. We'll incorporate that. I want to give you a makeover. I want to just do all kinds of stuff for you. It's going to cost $27. I would say I would politely decline, because I would think they don't know what they're doing if it's going to cost $27. If you said it's going to cost $10,000, but the outcome is you'll be able to do this, this, and that, and you'll have these 3 outfits that are signature, and we're going to do this with your hair, and we're going to do this for you when you go on stage, and I will be your guide, I would say, let's have a conversation about it. Does that make sense, everybody? When you price stuff higher than what it's worth, you're not just getting rid of a bunch of people who might have paid. I'll say it like this. People are scared to raise their prices because they're saying, well, nobody will pay for that. Nobody who is the wrong customer for that product will pay for it. But the right customer will pay for it. And you want more right customers. All right. I have really enjoyed spending these 2 hours with you. I hope that it has helped you. If you're watching this in the replay, thank you so much. Leave a comment, leave all kinds of likes and subscribes and stuff, and get this out to more people. Let me know in the comments too if you want me to do more of this type of style with the whiteboard that did stay. It didn't fall during these 2 hours. I'm very proud of it. And if you want me to do more, I actually have, in fact, we went through maybe a third of my notes from Hormozi. I can do at least 4 more hours of this if you want another time. Okay. I'm going to have fun. If you're in Los Angeles, meet me at Janine's show at the Moroccan tonight. I'll see you there. Thanks, everybody. This has been so much fun. This has been so much fun. You're doing an amazing job. I'll see you inside of my Your First 5K. I'm going to put the link to the prompt shop again. Everybody join that. There's no excuse not to join. You're going to have a great time in it. It is absolutely the best deal you have seen. I guess Your First 5K is the best deal on the internet, but this one is a very close second. That prompt shop, I'll see you there. Bye, everybody.